welcome back to another fun episode of A&B Sports Media, the podcast. My name is AJ.
And I'm Bill.
And welcome back. Again, had another week off, just kind of getting all the tech back into it. We actually have new mics. And Billy.
I forgot to buy the mixer.
Yeah. So we'll have a new mixer, and that's actually a pretty cool thing. It'll allow us to do like FaceTime videos and like record that kind of stuff.
Oh, that works with that thing?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, it does.
I just kind of threw my credit card at things. Like, money will solve problems eventually.
Good thing I do my research.
You do,
and it also will allow us to have more microphones.
Yeah.
So we'll have more people on in a lot easier of a capacity. So
I want Daquan Buckley.
Say Daquan Buckley.
Daquan Buckley,
Fair
the
enough.
heavyweight from last episode, CFFC, whatever number it was.
Throwback.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fun one just because now we're a little bit more into the MLB season, and we actually have some really cool news coming out from the NFL. So
Baseball.
We'll get into that as well. And we will start with baseball actually, and I'm going to start with the best baseball player of all time, Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott has actually broken a Philadelphia record. He has a 17-game hit streak, the longest hit streak in Philadelphia's
Get that
history,
man a cheesesteak.
specifically to start the season.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I think the MLB it's like a 23 or 24, but this hasn't been done in like 60 years.
Did he get one for today's game?
Yeah, that today was the day he got his
he
got
it
the
for
record.
today.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, he got it. So it was really cool. I actually did retweet something too on our Twitter handle.
Follow it
at AMB Sports Media. And it was kind of a dig at the shift, and it's literally what I've been saying every single time we talk about this. Is that good hitters will just hit the other way on a shift, and Bryson Stott's a lefty. You'll see on the Twitter handle what I retweeted. Majority of like his singles, doubles, and everything are opposite sides, so they go in the left field, and that's huge. Like if you shift someone, just hit it the other way, and it works. And and I'm so happy that he's gotten this record because he's a young kid that has a lot of potential, and he's a good character, a good person
He's
to
going to
have.
break the actual record, the MLB record.
That'd be really cool. That would
He's
be
gonna
really
do
cool.
it.
He's been one of the lone bright spots in the beginning of this Philadelphia season because it's been brutal, but they started to get it back up. But I'm concerned about our pitching realistically because
Yeah, our pitching sucks right now.
Nola and Wheeler are just not doing it right now. Like they'll have.
We put all of our stats into hitting.
Yeah, but this is the year that we were supposed to have pitching too. And Nolan Wheeler just kind of like falling off. And to be fair, I was talking to a few people before this, just kind of like talking about Aaron Nola and talking to one of our friends a while ago too, that he is a very rhythm pitcher. So the pitch clock is going to get him a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Especially if he starts kind of messing up, walking a few guys, like he'll kind of speed it up a little bit too quickly. So I think hopefully by like I said, towards the end of May, beginning of June is when you start seeing what a team really is. That's where the fun of like the season kind of gets into it because that's you get in the dog days of summer. By June, you should know what your identity is.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened last year with the Phillies is that they couldn't find their identity. They fired Joe Girardi, and then they just became the kind of a Cinderella story. They couldn't fully pull it off like last year. Hopefully this year, now that we have more foundation, Alec Baum, Bryson Stott are popping off. Brandon Marsh. He's been outstanding this year, so it's really cool to see.
How do you feel about the new pitch clock right now? Because I just finally went to a live game for the first time, and it was quick. Like I think that game probably was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
So for what they were trying to do with it, it's working. It's bringing people that traditionally don't watch the game because it might be too slow or too boring, and that's fun. But I know like once we get into like these games are going to matter, like this is the game that you need to win type stuff, like I said before, the Bryce Harper type things where he's doing the walk up and like everyone's cheering, like you just have that atmosphere.
I was gonna bring that up too because like when you hear like the little chants in between, they'll play music, all that. It stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
They try, but it basically turns into a little dun dun dun. That's it. That you don't hear anymore. You don't hear the full like getting ready to clap, cheer, all that shit. You just basically are sitting there. You cheer the entire time. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more fast paced. Also, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
What I also noticed was getting fucking a beer is a pain in the ass now because by the time you get back to your seat, You already missed an inning or two.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually a big issue that they're dealing with
It
is
is.
that they're gonna try and I forget what team did this first, but they pushed back
There's a
the
couple already that are doing it.
yeah, they pushed back the normally to kind of give you guys context in any baseball game, and this happens in the Eagles too. I forget exactly when it is, but for baseball, after the seventh inning stretch, you can't get any beer.
Yeah,
That's it. Like they
last
shut
call
off.
is bottom of the seventh or end of the seventh.
I forget if they do it midway through, so switching from away team to
Yeah,
home team, like bottom of the seventh, but it could be at the end of it. But yes, you after that you can't get any beer, and the problem they're realizing is they're losing like
yep,
millions of dollars of revenue in beer sales because of how quickly this is happening. So
yeah,
there's been a huge debate just based off of do they push back the like how late you can get a beer to 8 innings, which is what some people are doing.
yeah. So far, Arizona, Texas, Rangers, Minnesota, and Milwaukee have,
Yeah.
and I think San Francisco just did as well.
And here's the issue, which there is also a counter argument to this as well, is that you push it back to the eighth inning. You're also kind of incentivizing them staying, getting another beer, and risking driving.
Yep.
But there's a counterpoint to it too, where like I mean, seventh inning, eighth inning, like realistically, if you're getting into that situation, you realistically probably shouldn't have driven in the first place, and that's kind of not necessarily on like the ball
Yeah.
team. It's a weird dichotomy of like, yeah, we want to offer this to people, but you also have to understand that people are going to push limits all the time.
Yes, they are. And also keeping in mind, especially for at least the Philadelphia area, with the Phillies game too. Once you're done the game, you can either drive home, which we
Hmm.
don't recommend if you're drinking beforehand, because a lot of people will tailgate these games, especially coming up in the spring and summer.
Hmm. And
You,
especially in the before the pitch clock, they had time to sober up once the seventh inning was done.
yeah, because you
Because
got probably another hour,
yeah,
give or take.
at least another 45 minutes.
Even though we know that drinking, even though an hour will not sober you up completely,
Oh, 100% not.
but we're not trying to justify it, we're just explaining it.
Yeah.
But basically, like tailgating beforehand, then you're drinking through the game, you're gonna have less time to sober up, which is not what we want. I mean, you can continue drinking by going to Xfinity Live Casino,
Hmm.
or do the smart thing and take an Uber home
Yeah.
and leave the car there for the time being.
And there are majority of the people that are going there are smart and actually
Yeah,
responsible, but like you still are going to get those bad apples that will ruin it for everyone else. But
we're gonna find out on May 9th when we go who's the bad apple.
Dollar Dog Night, if they still have it, which I hope so.
Yeah, that was another thing there. The Phillies, they had a nice food fight, which I really wish I went to because I would love to be a part of that.
Well, granted, the Phillies were losing by like
A
5 runs, and like that you put Philly in that position where their fans they go there for the team and for a whole bunch of hot dogs, and they put up a poor showing like that. I expect the Phillies fans to react like that as well. But kind of going back to the pitch clock, like the idea of it. I think it needs to be changed. I think that before the at bat starts, like have them do their walk up, their ritual and everything, and then after the first pitch clock go.
I can agree to that.
I
Just so you get the fan interaction
Yep.
and they're ready. Like people can walk up, situate themselves. Because once they're in the box, I would say it's like it's go time.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to stay consistent after that. Before then, if you want to do a little stretch, like wave to the crowd, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. Do a cartwheel.
Exactly.
But once you're in the box, pitch clock starts after the first throw, or would it be once the batter steps in the box, pitch clock
I,
starts?
I would say for both because then that kind of screws the pitcher over.
Mhm.
After the first pitch, that's when the
After.
pitch clock starts.
Got it. That makes sense too because it's also that would be a very big benefit though to the pitcher because the first pitch they could take their sweet time on,
Hmm.
and then after that the pitch clock they can throw a quick pitch right after that and throw off their batter's timing.
Well, at that point too, like it pros and cons too, because
Yeah,
say like it's a bad pitch. Well, now the batter has the advantage. So like no matter what, the pitch clock is going to affect people different ways. But I think
absolutely.
that and that could be just true. But I just want like that beginning where like people are like especially in Philly,
Yeah,
people are singing the walk up songs. People are
yeah.
enjoying it, and especially like
I
when you
didn't
get
hear a single walk up song when I was there.
it goes by so quick. Like that
Mhm.
was one of the parts of like going to a game is just enjoying that.
I
Like
just
everyone's
realized,
singing.
yeah, and I just realized too, Dollar Dog Night's going to be a rough one. If you're trying to eat a dog an inning, You were trying to eat 9 hot dogs in 2-ish hours, give or take, if it's
Yeah.
not a blowout.
Yeah.
And by then, you're not gonna make that. You're gonna probably puke.
You're absolutely not going to make it.
I'm not attempting that.
And
I went like
that's
4, and that's it.
it's because like anyone that really goes to like a baseball game, that doesn't necessarily watch it on TV. At least like there was the atmosphere, the fun of it
Yeah,
that gave them like, you know what, I kind of enjoy this a little bit, and
yeah,
I can understand why you might not want to watch it on TV.
yeah,
But it's so they're getting increasingly good ratings based on the pitch clock,
oh
based on
yeah. No,
the
it's
bases, the
great
shift.
for watching at
Yeah,
home.
it's improving it, but I think there's like the intricacies of like especially in the playoffs. I don't think there should be a pitch clock.
Yeah,
Like just changing it here and there. Like I'm like the pitch clock itself, I'm fine with. I get what they're trying to do. As someone who's played baseball all their life, I understand when people are like this is like a very long,
yes.
tedious thing. So I get why the pitch clock is there. I just think it needs to be tweaked a little bit.
I think for the playoffs, though, I wouldn't say get rid of the pitch clock. I would say make it longer.
Or like after the seventh inning.
Yeah, because once you get the whole what's it called? Everybody's used to it having a shorter one. Getting rid of it completely will change the dynamic a little bit too much, in my opinion. So I
Yeah.
would recommend saying like, all right, it's 15 seconds right now. Change it to 30. Give them double the time to work with.
Yeah, because like you want that ability to kind of like let the emotions, like the drama simmer
Yeah,
and like sit.
I think 30 seconds is long enough
Yeah.
for that too.
And I think they know that. I think they're probably going to wait until like playoff time, or at least probably a month before they kind of
Yeah.
talk about it, because I have a feeling that like they know like that's definitely going to be a thing that they're missing.
Yep.
But then again, they're also dealing with this whole beer shortage, which they had to have thought of too. But
I think it was missed, honestly.
I think so too. I don't think they realized how much was going to be.
Yeah, I think what happened was they were like, "Ooh, the games are shorter. This is great though for ratings." Then the beer companies were like, "Hey,
I just don't think they thought it was going to be this much.
yeah,
I think they knew they were going to take a hit, but not this
yeah."
much.
I think they were like, "All right, we were gonna lose some sales. What are you gonna do?" But now it's like, "Oh, your games are cut down by nearly half.
Exactly.
So half our beer, not that's not how
It's
this
like
works.
45. Like they
Yeah.
cut off 45 minutes of like run time
Yeah.
necessarily.
Which gets rid of beer time.
Yeah, and like for one person, yeah, that might be one beer, but
Yeah,
like one
remember-
person to another, and keep multiplying. That's a lot of beer.
And beers are not cheap at any stadium you go to.
No, I think they're like what, like $15.
15 plus.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
But that's why you go Dollar Dog Night.
That's why we need to bring back.
At least they give you like the big ones, like the tall boys they give you.
Yeah,
Like
they
that,
give you a tall boy,
yeah,
which is
like
nice.
it's still definitely
when you go to the liquor store though, and then you see that they're really like $4 or $5.
yeah, you're still getting
you're like,
scalped.
I'm being upcharged.
But like at least it's a tall boy, and I think there's a psychology there for it.
yeah,
Also, another fun Philly thing is that Harper and Ranger Suarez had a little mini kind of like not practice, but they went to a hotel.
all right, good.
So Ranger threw to Harper. Harper was able to swing.
Good.
They had a pretty good bout. They both were able to get live at bats and stuff like that.
Good.
And what came out of that was Harper's if he was just strictly able to hit, he'd be 100%. He'd be good.
Yeah,
The only concern is he's not medically cleared yet because they don't know if he slides, there might still be a possibility he tears his elbow. The one that he
we
just
don't
got
want that
surgery
to
on.
happen now.
So they're still making sure he's good there. But when it comes to hitting, he's 100%. He's good to go.
Good.
So I'm excited for that. The only other thing I really wanted to bring up is that the Tampa Bay Rays are still on fire. They stopped their win streak though. They're 14-3, but they're number one in all of baseball,
Damn.
and they're still so fun to watch.
Good.
And the Orioles, every single time like one of them hits a home run, it's another fun home run celebration. At one point, they had the sprinkler, where one guy who gets on base was pretending to be the sprinkler, and everyone in the dugout just like kind of like
Spits
spewed
out
water.
water.
Yeah. They had one where it was a beer bong,
Yeah,
and they use water obviously,
Yeah.
but that was their celebration. So it's fun to see like those teams having extremely like a good amount of fun, and then seeing the celebrations they do. So I'm curious what else the Orioles at least will have up their sleeve, and how more dominant the Rays can get. Now we'll switch over to the NFL, because there was some really fun news for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, the franchise QB that everyone wanted to get signed, has gotten signed for a 5-year, $255 million contract.
damn.
$179 million of that is guaranteed. everyone was kind of worried that he was going to take. Well, I shouldn't say was worried. We had like majority of Philly knew what type of person he was. We wanted him to get paid, but we kind of knew that he was going to help the team out. And the cap hit that Howie Roseman and Jalen Hurts' agent constructed, beautiful. Like I think he's actually going to be less of a cap hit than Patrick Mahomes down the line, which is really interesting. But thank God we got that deal done because people that still need to get deals done for in QB market is Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and the likes of them, and Lamar Jackson. Um, and they're going to ask for a lot more after that. So it's really a copycat league. Whoever goes first normally is that's a good thing because then they get a cheaper price. But Jalen deserves every single like dime of that money. He's going to be so good for years to come, and I'm excited. And even as someone who in the beginning definitely wanted Wentz, I will say when I made mistakes and made losses, he has proven me wrong. Even but all last year I was with him, and he's watching him just prove every single doubter wrong. And there's still doubters, which it blows my mind, but most of them are like Giants and Cowboys fans. So I get it, but
Evil people.
he I don't think he's reached the ceiling at all. And even if he plays like 80% of what he played last year, which looked effortless to him, the Eagles are going to be in a good spot, and I'm very excited. Um, Buda Baker, who is a Cardinal safety, requested for a trade, and all of Philly was like, "Hey, Howie, trade for him.
Yeah, why not?
He's that good." The only problem is that he's making a good amount of money. He's making more than C.J. Garner Johnson is already making on that 1 year deal. And that's a big problem, especially for like cap going down the line. But if he's willing to take like not a big cap hit, but like just or not a big hit to like his money, but just a little bit, because he is kind of in that win now mode in his career. He's not really. I think he's like 27, maybe 26. So he still has plenty of years left, but
Yeah.
he's like I want to play for a contender because he knows who he is, and he's actually he was I forget what station he was on, was talking and said like, oh yeah, like the Eagles, like their head coach like he's really fun. Let me actually pull up. So Buda Baker actually said someone that I really like is the Eagles coach. He is who he is. Seeing that is special as a player, meaning Nick Sirianni is not
Come to
afraid
the
to
dark
show.
side.
Yeah,
We have
and
cheesesteaks and anger management.
that's real. That'll be really awesome. Like if we get
Do
him,
it.
it's almost a lock to go back to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
then this team, and I'm actually curious. I don't know if you've been keeping up on like the rookies and
Nope.
who we want to draft. Okay,
Nope.
so I won't ask this, but I'll ask all of you.
Ask the
Go on
fans. All 6 of you.
tweet us at A&B Sports Media or AB Sports Media, and tell us who should the Eagles draft with their number 10th pick. Should they draft Bijan Robinson? Should they draft Jalen Carter?
We
Should
already
they
have Jalen.
draft other? Or should they trade back and get more picks? I have my ideas, but I'm not sold on mine 100% yet. Because I'm really curious. Because like as much as I want Bijan Robinson to like just bolster this offense, because he is a generational running back talent. Think of Saquon Barkley when he first came in,
Okay.
like that.
All right, that sounds
On
good.
that offense for
Yeah.
at least on a rookie deal for 3 years, that is insane. That would be obnoxious. Then we have Jalen Carter, who put him on a defense with Hassan Reddick, with Nakobe Dean, like that.
Blankenship.
Like that would be disgusting as well. So we have so many options, and then there's also that like, you could also trade back,
Yeah.
get more picks, and just keep bolstering because we have, I think, 6 picks in the next 2 years, in first and second rounds. So like that's huge. So that's kind of where we're at with the NFL and the MLB, and then I also kind of want to talk about the Sixers a little bit.
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah, a little basketball. We'll get a little bit more into it, but obviously we're biased, so we'll talk about the Sixers.
Yeah, that's all we're really going to focus on right now.
They've looked really good.
They have.
Like
They just want. They are currently 2-0 in the playoffs of round 1. Honestly, I was very happy with how everything went. At first, I was a little nervous after the second quarter or period. Is it period? I don't know. One or the other.
it's quarters.
It is quarters. Great. Props to Maxey though. 40 minutes played, 33 points, 3 rebounds, no assists though. So all of those points besides Oh yeah, all of those points, all him. So good for him. Harden, 38 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Way to be a team player. Um, Tobias Harris, 33 minutes, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 points. And our man, the myth, the legend, the tall man in the center itself, Joel Embiid, 37 minutes, 19 rebounds, 7 assists, 20 points.
The thing that I love about this team right now is that obviously throughout the whole season, Embiid was scoring
Yes.
outrageously. He was playing MVP level, and he still is because the Nets to stop him literally have to double, even sometimes triple team him.
Yes.
That leaves opportunities open for Maxey, for Harris, and that's what really makes me excited is that
Harden, you also have DeAnthony Melton, 21 minutes, 9 points.
but
He's getting it.
that's what makes me so excited is that before the Nets even started,
Yep.
everyone was saying you got a double team, triple team. Embiid and you shut the Sixers down. Well, they're showing you that you physically
can
can't
go around
do that.
him. We can work without him.
Like
Not fully, but we want him.
no. Obviously, this whole thing is centered around Embiid because without the double teams, they're not going to get the shots they normally get. But it's so cool to see that Harris. I have been shitting on him for a while now.
Yeah, and then he shut you up. He
Uh,
broke your ankles.
No, not yet. I wanted Jimmy Butler for I wanted him before Harris, and obviously that didn't happen. But I was like, I'll give Harris. I'll see what he does. And he wasn't necessarily performing too much to what the contract has, but he's shown up in the playoffs. The past 2 games, he has done extremely well, and I'm very excited about that. Maxey stepping up, doing his thing, obviously, and then Harden, even though he doesn't have the point totals and the assists and everything, he's still moving the ball around.
He's making the plays happen.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, and B-ball, Paul Reed. Oh, he's doing. I'm just so happy he's actually starting to grow into a good little small forward for us. So I'm really excited to see how they continue to improve even in the playoffs because I was a little nervous getting into it. I was like, how? Because Harris hasn't really shown me too much throughout the season. Maxey, I love him. He still needs to get too consistent. So 2 games in a row, they're showing that they can just absolutely dominate, even if you double team or triple team Embiid, the main guy. So
yeah, and hopefully this all works out. On Thursday, April 20th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Game 3 against the Nets.
Yep.
They win that, they go into the next round because it's best of 5.
Yep.
Or is it best of 7 actually?
It's I think it's first to 4.
First to 4. Oh, sorry, never mind. One more game after that.
Yeah. So and then just another key thing I wanted to point out too. This game was a little bit of controversy, and I'll talk about that. But the Warriors have gone down 0-2 in their series, and this is the first time in I think 15 years Steph Curry has ever dealt with that.
Say poor Steph Curry.
But that's even though that's a pretty big thing in of itself. There was a little thing where Draymond Green decided to just straight up curb stomp someone in the chest. There's been point of contentions where he was saying that the guy grabbed his leg and stuff like that, but it seemed what happened was he went to go cover his face and that kind of wrapped around Draymond's foot. But Draymond tried to get out of it, and then the guy let go, and Draymond just straight up stepped on him. So he got ejected from that game. Everyone's annoyed at that, but it's interesting to see that the Warriors, who were a dynasty for a long time and still kind of are down to the Kings, who haven't been in a playoff game.
Yeah, not looking so hot right now.
Years. So more games to come. We got a lot of games happening. Again, this is recorded Tuesday, April 18th. So we got the Hawks, Celtics, we got Knicks, Cavaliers, we got Clippers, Suns, all happening today, which is Tuesday, April 18th. So
so we want the Knicks to win. So if the Knicks win the playoff round 1, then we are gonna go to a live game in the next one against the Knicks, Sixers versus Knicks.
Would they face them or would they face the Celtics?
Would face them, I think. I gotta double check that. Hang on.
Because I would love that. Because the Celtics, for some goddamn reason, always have our
I know. Let's see. So the way it goes, where are we at? No, actually, you're right. We would play the Celtics. So for the Eastern Conference, it would be Milwaukee and Miami. Miami won the first game. I didn't even realize that until now.
Yeah,
that's shocking.
With Tyler Herro actually breaking his hand too.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see because that's going to be very huge going down the line.
Very true. So Milwaukee and Miami, and then we'll play the winner of Cleveland and New York. Sixers and Brooklyn will play the winner of Boston and Atlanta. In the Western Conference, Denver and Minnesota will play the winner of either Phoenix and LA. Sacramento and Golden State will play either the winner of Memphis or LA Lakers. I know that sounds a little weird, but basically, whatever the first two teams I said, they were whoever wins out of that. So.
Yep. So that's then. Yeah, we got games tonight. So fun to see if the Hawks can come back and take a game from the series. If the Knicks can hold off Mitchell and the Cavaliers, and then we'll see if the Clippers can necessarily keep this lead on the Sun. So it'll be some fun games to watch.
Definitely. All right. In the meantime, we're going to take a step back in time. Today's events in sports history.
Woo!
Okay. Because the first one in 1809 does not make sense to me, and I want to bring it up to everyone to be confused. 1809, first run of 2,000 guinea horses. Race at Newmarket, England. I have no idea what that means. There's just horses. The first in 1869, the first international cricket match was held in San Francisco, and it was won by California. Woo, go cricket. We're gonna get into it eventually. Don't care about that. Tommy Burns KOs Dewey Smith, that is his name, Jewey, of England in the 5th round at the Newley Bowling Palace in Paris to retain his world heavyweight boxing title. There are some weird names back then. Keep going, and we're going, because I know there was more getting to this. 1946, Jackie Robinson debuts as second baseman for the Montreal Royals. So, getting that back in there. More about the Boston. A lot of Boston Marathon winners today, because Boston Marathon. I
was about to say.
Up 1966, Bill Russell becomes the first African American coach in NBA history for the Boston Celtics. First ABA basketball championship again. Still have no idea. Wait. Here it is. 1987. Mike Schmidt hits his 500th home run versus the Pirates. So that's pretty dope. More about the Boston Marathon. More about the Boston Marathon. More about the Boston Marathon. Joe Montana retires in 1955. And in 1988, Peyton Manning is first picked up by the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, would you look at this?
In 1999, Wayne Gretzky retires from the NHL and lost his last game with the New York Rangers losing 2-1. Shame. Boston Marathon, Boston Marathon, Boston Marathon. Here's a good one. 2017, and this is the last one. Portuguese superstar Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first player to score 100 goals in the Champions League with a hat trick in Real Madrid's 4-2 win over Bayern Munich. Yeah! So that was our day in sports history. Okay. So, a few other things going on in the meantime before I get into combat sports. USFL football. Currently, as of last week, of April 15th, or this weekend, we had the first week of the United States Football League.
Woo!
Guess how the Philadelphia Stars did?
Please tell me that
they fucking won.
Hey.
27-23. They beat the Memphis Showboats. That boat sunk. I'm having too much fun acting like this now.
The blob lurks.
Then we have on the other side the New Jersey Generals versus the Birmingham Stallions. Who do you think won?
Birmingham Stallions.
Correct.
Wow.
It was 27-10.
Hey.
Beyond that, also in the next week on April 16th, that Sunday, Michigan Panthers versus Houston Gamblers. Michigan's won by 20. It was 29-13, and then the Pittsburgh Maulers versus the New Orleans Breakers. I still hate all their names. 22-15 for New Orleans. So currently in the in the standings, in the North Division, because there's only a North and South. Yeah. Panthers and Stars are 1-0. Maulers and Generals sucking it up. Same thing on the bottom side in the South Division. Stallions and Breakers are 1-0. Showboats and Gamblers are 0-1. XFL is going on at the same time as well. The Dallas Defenders are 8-1 currently. St. Louis Battlehawks are 6-3. That league is still going, and what is it?
But the DC Defenders and the Houston Roughnecks have made have clinched the division
They have,
and
yes.
home field.
Thank you.
So
That's what I was
the
going to type up next.
Vegas Vipers and the Orlando Guardians, they have been eliminated from
I was going to say,
contention.
the Guardians are 1-8. They suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. So now I actually, ever since the XFL started, have been a Seattle Sea Dragons fan just because go Dragons. That literally, literally that's the only reason. So, but
Yeah.
right now they are neck and neck with the St. Louis Battlehawks again, both at 6-3. So obviously, a few weeks left to go, but curious to see who's going to take that last spot.
Yep.
And then in the other division, you got the Arlington Renegades and the San Antonio. Brahmas?
Ramen? Promise? Hang on, I gotta look at it closer. I can't see myself.
It's something, all right.
Hang
It's
on.
something, but that division's even worse. They're both trying to vie for that last spot, but a little bit less so. Arlington Renegades 4-5,
Yeah, Brahmas.
and then San Antonio Brahmas.
Brahmins, probably. I'm thinking of Brahmin from Fallout. Shout out to
Brahmas,
Fallout.
San Antonio.
Sure.
They're 3-6, so they're a little bit more to go, but
They can pull it back.
you never know.
They're like cows. They go moo. They
So
kinda
I think this is the last week for it, because then you go into semifinals and
yeah.
championship.
So most likely not.
So yeah, so well, I mean, you never know because if
If the Defenders lose, then there's a tie.
yeah, I think they would go for like maybe a 0.4 point,
Probably.
yeah, something like that. But the Seattle faces Vegas, so that's looking pretty good. And Arlington faces Houston, which
Yeah.
who knows? But yeah,
All right.
that's the XFL.
Cool. Otherwise, Union currently right now, the Philadelphia Union, they had a game this Saturday on April 15th. They tied against Chicago,
Chicago.
2-2. Currently in the standings right now, they are actually out of playoff contention.
Really?
Yes, they are currently ranked 10th out of the 15. So the way it's working right now when it comes to total points, they have about 8 total points because their record is currently 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. So Philadelphia's not looking hot right now.
Yeah.
However, if they get 1 win, they will get more points than Toronto, at least, who has 9 in total. Toronto is literally hanging on by a thread. Their record is 1-1 with 6 draws.
Oh. Huh.
They're literally playing just to survive.
Yeah. Jesus.
So they Philadelphia will be playing where are we at? Speaking of devil, they are playing Toronto this weekend on April 22nd at 7:30 p.m.
Well, would you look
So
at this?
that's big because I think if they do that, it should be the final. But I think there's still this is for a Champions League going on at the same time. So we're moving on that. I have nothing for F1 currently because the next race is next weekend, April 30th. That's the Azerbaijani Grand Prix. Only thing I'm going to say about that is there's rumors about Carlos Sainz leaving Ferrari. Kind of want it to happen because Ferrari is dropping the ball. But shout out to Fernando Alonso. He's 40 years old and still killing it. So, yay. I also now have a brand new Max Verstappen hoodie, and it's quite comfortable because I got the European sizing down. I'm wearing a double XL. It fits like an XL, and it fits like a dream.
Wait, they really have.
It's European sizing.
I mean, but like we're we're fatter. That makes sense.
Yes. All right. Last but not least, we'll get into boxing first because there is a big fight night this weekend on Danzon or Showtime. You have Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. This is probably going to be hopefully one of the fights of the year. Ryan Garcia is probably more known social media wise with how much he does produce content. But that doesn't mean he doesn't know how to fight. I've watched him fight Luke Campbell, and that was a very entertaining fight for him. Great body shot knockout from him. But that doesn't mean Gervonta Tank Davis is no slouch either. He is a force to be reckoned with. Honest to God, I have no idea who's going to win, but I'll make an opinion anyway. Current records for both. Ryan is currently 23-0 with 19 KOs. Gervonta Tank Davis is currently 28-0 with 26 knockouts. This is going to be a 12-round fight. This is going to be held in Las Vegas, I believe, at the T-Mobile Arena. If you want to buy tickets, no, it's a lot of money. It's like $600 plus.
Ew.
pay-per-view currently on Showtime and Danzon. I think this is considered a super fight, so Danzon's going to charge you for the pay-per-view as well. It's $85.
Huh.
That's a lot.
Huh.
So yeah, yo ho, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna be a pirate. Beyond that though, both are actually around our age too, AJ. Did you know that? Tank
Bro,
is
we're getting to that age now where like all the new like are just I hate this. I hate
Tank's
getting
older
older.
than us too. He's actually 29.
I know,
Um,
but we're now in that age where like any newcomers coming in are going to be significantly younger than us and
yeah, it
more
scares the
talented.
shit out of me. So that's gonna happen again. This is gonna be on Saturday, April 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Main event ring walks are approximately around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This again, yes, it will be. Oh, that's bullshit. So the U.S. gets screwed out again. I just want to bring this up when it comes to the pay-per-views. If you have the Danzon subscription and you're in the UK, Ireland, Denmark, Europe, you can watch this fight for free. But because we're the U.S. and we're big on capitalism, we have to get Danzon pay-per-view. So if you already have a membership, U.S., Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, you have to pay for. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Anyway, moving on. Beyond that, on the boxing world, we're done with. We're going to go back into last weekend's fight night between Arnold Allen and Max Holloway. Not going to run through everybody. A lot of crazy stuff happened. Congrats to Gillian Robertson for performance of the night. Props to Brandon Roval for first round knockout for performance of the night. Fight of the night, Bill Lego and TJ Brown for fight of the night. And then the two I'm going to focus on only for this one, Edson Barboza versus Billy Quarantillo. I was really rooting for Billy to win, but unfortunately, in the first round, when it looked like he was putting some good pressure on, he decided to get kneed in the face and just dropped out cold. So Edson won by a knockout in the first round, received performance of the night. He still got it in him, even though he's getting older. He's still ranked 14th in the featherweight division, and we'll see where he goes from there. Main event was another featherweight bout. Max Holloway, ranked number 1, versus Arnold Allen, ranked number 4. It was five rounds of pure combat of them going back and forth. Arnold was landing some really tough shots, but Max was just peppering him much more. Overall, Max won via unanimous decision, and he still held the number 1 spot. What does that mean for the featherweight division? Who the fuck knows? Because, as of now, the current champ of the featherweight division is Alexander Volkanovski, who he's lost to 3 times. 3 times, yeah. And, like, where do you go from there? Like, do you want to have him fight a 4th time? Who knows? I don't know. Basically, I think Volkanovski is supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez next. If he does and loses, hopefully there's no immediate rematch. Max can fight and go from there. But if not, I got nothing. There is talks, though, of Max Holloway fighting the Korean Zombie next. I think that would be a good legacy retirement fight for the Zombie. Zombie is on his way out, and Max is still, doing his thing. But I think overall that will be better than waiting to have him fight Volkanovski again, because I'm going to get bored of watching that over and over again. Those two, unfortunately, are so good. But Volkanovski, I still think, is on another level with Max just right behind him, and the rest of the division can't get close at all whatsoever. Moving on from that card, we have this weekend's fight card. You have a UFC Fight Night, Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades, Saturday, April 22nd at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America. Yeah. This can be watched on ESPN Plus, and same thing with the prelim as well. When it comes to this, I don't have really many to focus on this card either. The only 2 I really wanted to bring up, 3, just realizing I forgot about him. Kamaru Usman has a brother. Did you know that?
No, actually, you were saying this earlier. I was like, oh. him? And they
Yeah.
were like, no, his brother. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so he's on the prelims. His name is Muhammad Usman. He is fighting a guy named Junior Tafa. Muhammad had a great knockout the last time he fought, so we're gonna see how that goes. I don't know much about Junior Tafa. They don't have much on him besides he has no record at all, and he's just called the Juggernaut. But he's apparently had 4 knockouts and 3 first-round finishes, but nobody. I don't know. I got nothing on him. There's literally a blank photo and everything, so I have no idea. So we'll see. Otherwise, the only other 2 I wanted to focus on was a lightweight bout in the main card, which is Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon. Bobby Green's a hell of a fighter. I've been watching him constantly. With the lightweight division, it's stacked from beginning to end. Even if you get off the top 15, which includes like Patty Pimblett and a few other fighters, they're still going to be just as dangerous as potentially the top 15. It just shows you how deep that weight class goes.
Yeah.
Bobby Green has fought the best and lost to some of them, lost and won against a lot of them as well. But I love Bobby Green's fighting style because he throws in the Philly shoulder, he dodges, weaves, it gets good. Who he's fighting, though, is Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon was on the loss of Patty Pimblett at the last UK event in UFC. I think this is actually a step up in competition for him because I think he did deserve to win that fight against Patty Pimblett, no matter what anyone else says. And I think a lot of people agree with me that Jared should have won that fight. They were trying to protect Patty to keep his stock going, and it kind of didn't work out. So, otherwise, though, I think this is a good step up in competition for him. Can he keep up the speed against Bobby Green? I don't know. Does Bobby have a better chin than Patty? I also don't know because Jarrett was throwing some massive bombs that last fight. So, overall, we'll see what happens there. The next one I want to bring up is the heavyweight fight, the main event. Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. This is a very, very important fight for both of these people. I'm pretty sure whoever wins this will, after the fight against John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, depending who wins, will be fighting for the title next. Sergey, Jesus fucking Christ, and I shouldn't say that around him because I know he's a stout Catholic because I watch him literally do the sign of the cross every time. He is currently 17-1, 5 win streak, 14 wins by knockout, 14 of them are first round finishes.
God damn.
Yeah.
God damn.
And I'm not kidding. Let's see. On those 5 fights, except for the Green versus Pavlovich fight, oh no, it still says knockout. I just don't know who. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Besides him losing to Overeem in 2018, from 2019 on, every single fight he has done was a win by knockout in the first round.
God damn.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's
Jesus
fucking crazy.
Christ.
He's knocked out Derek Lewis. He's knocked out Tai Tuivasa, which Tai, I love you. I wish you didn't fight there because that hurt me. I love you so much. Don't do that again. So he's knocked out the knockout artists. That is huge, to say the least. Who he's fighting next, though, is no slouch whatsoever. His name is Curtis Blades. He's 17-3, 12 wins by knockout, 3 first-round finishes. Recently coming off a win of knocking out, I believe it's Chris Daukaus. I forget which one. Yep, Chris Daukaus, which is still ranked in the heavyweight division. I can't believe it. And then another decision win over Rosenstruck, and then his unfortunate loss against Derek Lewis. Yeah, he got knocked the fuck out there. He also beat Tom Aspinall, but that was via injury because Tom's ACL broke. So that's TKO. What are you going to do? But his takedowns are incredible. 33 takedowns landed out of the 115 attempts. So he is a very big wrestler. I think that will be a big game plan against him to see how Sergey handles it, because Sergey is basically, in American terms, is swang and bang, because he will just throw everything at you as a big pressure fighter. So if Curtis can get around that, that's good. The problem is, if Sergey does do any film at all and sees how Derek won his last fight against Curtis Blades via knockout, He knows if he throws the timing right, he will knock them the ever living the fuck out. And then maybe Sergey will now be fighting for the heavyweight championship belt against John Jones. Who do I think will win? I have no fucking clue. If it makes it beyond the first round, I actually think Curtis will take it, but we've never seen Sergey go beyond the first round either. Otherwise, that's all I have at this time for mixed martial arts, combat sports. Shane Burgos, you lost. You make me sad, so I'm not talking about you right now.
And then just kind of wrap it all up too. We haven't really talked about it a lot, but LCS, the esports League of Legends, they had their playoffs. They kind of went through everything. The first round, actually, I'll give you. We'll talk about the standings real quick. We'll talk about the top four, and it kind of played out exactly how we thought it would. The only thing is that Cloud9 actually bumped up over FlyQuest. So Cloud9 was first, FlyQuest was second. 100 Thieves was third, and then CLG was fourth.
Gasp.
And to give you an idea, they do pretty much the top four do semifinals and then finals. They play best first of three. Cloud9 faced CLG. They beat them 3-1 pretty handily. FlyQuest beat 100 Thieves 3-0 pretty handily. But the most shocking thing was in the finals, Cloud9 just wiped the floor of FlyQuest. They actually went 3-0.
Huh? How about that shit?
So yeah, it was interesting to see, but that's kind of where LCS is. Their spring split is done now, so they take a little break and then they go into the summer one. But a big thing actually came out too is that the popularity and viewership of the LCS in North America actually lowered significantly, and that was a big point of discussion for a little bit because obviously they wanted to figure out like why that was. And
because League is a toxic game and we stopped playing it.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the points. Is that
Really?
there was a few kind of talking points, nothing really narrowed down. And Riot actually came out and said like we're like we don't know what we're gonna do just yet, but like we're figuring it out. Like trust me, like
give me a refund for all the skins I bought. How about
and
that?
for all the shit that I give Riot, they are very good at listening to the community. They're one of the few companies that actually do.
Turn into a music production company, they'll be fine.
Honestly, I'm more excited about anything other than League of Legends that Riot makes.
Yeah, there is. When it comes to Riot games, they have two major games out currently.
Well, one released today, and we'll get to that. We'll continue your thought process.
When it comes to like big video games, League of Legends, obviously, and their newer one is called Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a first-person shooter type game, very tactical, very fun to watch. It's a little more flashy than other games in the sense of abilities and all that. You also have card games as well.
Yep.
You also have Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, stuff like that. You also have, lastly, I forgot about it, Team Fight Tactics, which I don't know what type of genre that is.
Yeah, so that's called auto chess.
Thank you.
So that's still wrapped in with League because it's in the same client. It's not necessarily a separate game.
Yeah, but it has its own little like competitions and everything on its own. So.
Yeah. Just a brief, because auto chess is actually kind of cool. Brief thing is that auto chess is you pretty much place pieces on the board. You kind of try and pair them up to get bonuses, and then like where normally chess you can move the pieces. Auto chess,
pieces move on their own and
you
attack.
let them go.
They have abilities.
You set everything up, and then they go.
Yeah, like there's also another League of Legends game out. I forgot about it. The Tales of whatever, the one that's set in Bilgewater.
The Ruin King one.
Yeah, the Legends of the Ruin King.
Yeah, that one was actually really.
It is
good.
really fun.
It was
it's a story-based game. Highly recommend it. You got, in the meantime, another one coming out eventually called Project L right now. That's the working title. That is a fighting game like Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. That will be coming out, God knows when. Yeah,
they haven't given a release date, but a lot of the stuff that they've shown looks very promising and very fun. And they actually have one come out today.
What game?
It's a roguelike. That's
is it Mage Seeker?
It's Mage Seeker.
That came out today.
Silas the Mage Seeker a roguelike came out today. I was gonna try and figure it out after the gym. But yeah, so they have a whole skew of games, and like they have Arcane season 2 they're in production on.
Please
so
watch that on Netflix. That is
it's so good. It is so it's a top 5 show of mine, including a top 5 just video media like TVs and movies combined. So
Yeah,
please
Mage
give that a
Seeker is
watch.
currently $29.99.
Yep.
I have nothing else to play, and I'm not playing League anymore because I have an addiction. So I play
I
that.
got MLB The Show, and I got Raven's Watch, which is another roguelike. So, but yeah, so LCS is having like the viewership down, and part of that is because the main draw to League of Legends is the rank play.
Yes.
So you pretty much they have like this whole thing where you have like most games do this, where you have like your casual, you just jump in with friends and have fun. But all of us,
The
in it,
addicted
at
ones.
least in my friend group.
The addicted ones, which means
Well, I
90%
wouldn't.
of
I'm
the
not saying just League in
I'm
general
saying
either.
90% of the League clientele that plays the game
Oh
plays
yeah,
ranked.
yeah. Majority of people play ranked because it gives you a sense that you put 40 minutes of your
It
life to
gives you a
something
sense of pride and accomplishment.
when you.
Take that, EA.
I don't even know at this point. I don't even
It
know.
gave me accomplishment when
But
I was done.
yeah. So the major draw to the game is ranked, and a lot of people play it, and it's having a lot of problems with toxicity, which is pretty much
Been
just
there.
like a whole bunch of people like just shit talking to each other. Inting, which is literally just like
Giving up on the game.
Yeah, giving up on the game, but like purposely making it so
It's
that
best way to describe it too. It's like if you were playing baseball and you were intentionally hitting a grounder right to the pitcher.
I wouldn't even say that because then that doesn't even like give him a run.
But you're getting
into-
yourself out right then and there,
Yeah.
or you're dropping the ball intentionally and it pops fly.
Yeah, essentially, it's instead of a 5v5 situation, it's a 4v6.
Yeah.
Not like so inting all that kind of stuff.
Most
They
of the
have
toxicity.
what they call Smurfs.
Oh, yeah.
So what Smurfs are essentially people that are in higher elos. So like it goes
Higher
like
ranked players.
bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, all that kind of stuff. So like there's the higher echelon players that like are like not even 10%
Yeah.
of but they have such high queue times. Queue times is when you go into
Waiting
a game.
times.
Yeah, you wait essentially, and the reason that is because there's not that many like challenger
when you're
level
playing
players.
the top 10%, you're only gonna play like between like 10,000 people at best.
Yeah, normally
Maybe
if like
less.
if you're playing just like where the general population plays from like bronze to or silver to gold, like around that
Put bronze
area.
in there.
It normally takes you like a minute or two to get it.
Yeah, you get into a game real quick. You play, you hate yourself for 45 minutes, and then you're done.
Yeah,
And then you play again because you're like, "What's wrong with me?" Is you stick the needle in more.
Challenger essentially is like 20 to 30-minute queue pops.
Because again, there is in specific regions to make it even more specific. Each region is allotted X amount of those ranks. In this case, for Challenger, I think it's the top 300 players
Mhm.
in the North American region.
Mhm.
So you're trying to find a match between 300 of those other people. You're not going to wait. You're going to make another account that starts lower so you can continue to play and have fun.
And that's
it's kind of
what
like
happens.
having an MLB player come to your fucking softball league game.
Literally, so Jason Worth, old Phillies player, old Washington Nationals player, retired, went to a men's league game, and I think his first at bat, he just dropped a bomb. It's essentially like that, and especially people that like this game is such a huge learning curve, and if you're silver or gold, like you go up against a challenger player or even like diamond or something like that, like you're just knowing that you're
not
going to be
have a fun
tilted.
time.
And majority of it's like affecting like bronze to silver players.
The newer players. The growth of the game itself is slowing down because of the learning curve that it has.
Yeah,
and it doesn't help that you have over 150 different characters you're able to play with different types of kits that all have different varying levels of skill to learn and master.
And now imagine doing that against the best of the best.
Yes.
And that's not fun.
And and then you also have to remember you have to memorize what exactly these other people have. Like I don't know how I do this now, like playing this game after 3 years. I know every champion's ability if I sat there and just thought about it.
Yeah.
I won't remember all their names off the top of my head because it's 150 fucking names.
Yeah.
But if you show me the champion in the game, I could say they do this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah, I can actually tell you a good amount of what they do. So they have a smurfing problem, which their original idea was do smurfing queue, where like if there's a series of like, I forget the actual equation of how they do it, but it worked decently well. There was still problems with it, but they got rid of it, and smurfing became a huge problem. Talking about bringing that back. And then Dodgers, people that like if they
quit the games,
literally they'll just get into a game, and when you're choosing your champions, once you're locked in, the game starts. You can't necessarily leave. Like if you leave, you can't start another game.
Yeah,
you can't start until that game is finished.
It's not. It's literally the most torturous thing when you're about to play a game and you lock in and somebody says, "Hey, can I grab you for a minute?" Because you're like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
stuck for 45 minutes
Yeah.
at least."
And then, but dodging at least gives you the ability to, like, before that game's locked in, if you don't like the matchups or you can tell that your friend, like your teammates are toxic,
Yeah.
you could dodge. But a lot of people will dodge just to, like, fuck with people.
And you also get penalties for doing that too.
You do.
You can even actually have your account banned for 7 days, 14 days, etc. Just going back to the toxicity real quick, I had a person recently during my rank climb add me as a friend, insult me, curse me out, told me to never play ranked again, only play a different game mode, ARAM, and literally just unfriended and blocked me. I still follow him to this day just to see his rank. He still sucks ass.
Yeah. And so that's like a lot of the game issues, but also there's a lot of turnover in esports.
Yeah.
And they're also bringing a lot of more international talent. And it's this weird dichotomy of a whole bunch of things like falling together, and like the viewer rate just dropping. So like that's going to be an interesting thing to see once they go into the new split. If they can improve those things, and if they could bring back the people that are kind of starting to die
Am I
out.
even gonna play ranked this new split? I don't even think so.
No, I literally feel like I have my coin. I haven't played since March 23rd.
Yeah, I haven't played
I'm not playing
a ranked game since I think like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
To be honest, we've just been so busy.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
we haven't even had time to. Actually, the reason we were busy. Shout out to Matt Fanuca and Tibby for getting married. Thank you for inviting us, and that was actually a really fun thing.
It was a lot of fun.
So that was really cool. But so that's kind of where everything's at. Again, like please reach out to us at Twitter, which our handle again is at AB Sports Media. And then Bill, where can they reach us on email?
Thank you for asking, because I'm pulling it up now because I'm going to see if we have any emails too. But our email address is billandajmedia@gmail.com.
Indeed.
Guess what? We have nothing.
God damn it.
All 6 of you, send a fucking email. Come on.
Yeah.
I know one of our viewers is literally upstairs in one more room. He can send an email at least.
He's actually been a very big supporter. Like every week, like if like we were having technical issues or just like me starting a new job, and I'll be like, wow, you guys are really slacking. Like I listen to these every time I'm at work. You better pick it up. So
well, send us an email to give us content.
Big shout out to my grandfather. But so that's pretty much it. Please reach out to us again.
Do it, please.
Again, my name is AJ,
and I'm Bill.
And thank you for listening to A&B Sports Media, the podcast. Talk to you guys later.
Good night.
Bye.
If gambling has become a problem for you or for someone you know, please call 1-800-GAMBLER to seek free, confidential, 24/7 problem gambling assistance. You can also text support to 53342 to get more information about problem gambling behavior.